We just found out that Imran Khan was just arrested. So I wanted to bring on the Comrade Shahid, who you guys have heard of before. He is part of the Pakistani form, U.S. form. How are you doing today, Comrade?
Everything's fine, and thank you for everybody.
Comrade, I wanted to bring you on because of these issues that's happening in Pakistan with Imran Khan. He was just
You
arrested
just
today.
mentioned that he's arrested.
Yeah,
When he's arrested, he got on bail.
he was just arrested today.
I see. I'm really sorry. It's news for me. Yes, the last news with me that he got the interim bail from the courts. So
Right.
about 3 days or now, I don't know what happened. If
Get,
they have the new charges, it's a violation of the court orders. I don't know.
yeah, and I was reading the article today. I'm going to read it a little bit from it for you. Which is very interesting. It says here the prime minister. Oh wait, well, Imran Khan position that he can hold talks with the Taliban, but not with other mainstream political parties, is the only making matters worse. So that was a huge quote that came out from the Tribune.com PK. Um, there's so I really it's like they're saying that he's having dialogue with other people, and he had this speech because there was a huge demonstration that was going on, and he's been applying pressure, saying that he wants to run, but and then they said that they had nothing against him. If they wanted to press charges, they could have pressed charges a while ago. Um, so my question is, why are they pressing charges now? If they had anything against them, they could have done it
Only one thing
earlier
let
on.
me ask you:
Yeah.
who wrote this article? Can you give me the name?
Yes, sir. It's the Tribune PK.
UK. Who's the writer?
Yes. We'll go down to the
Who's the
writer. That's
writer?
always a good question. Yes. Let's see who's the writer is.
Yeah, let me see. Does they have any name of the writer or just as a report?
I know
Title.
just his report. It says the
Okay.
government sends mixed signals on arresting Imran
Okay.
Khan. Imran Khan.
And in the meanwhile, you have to help me to find out what time they arrested him in Pakistani time at this time. Anyway, so I'm gonna start with your permission.
Yeah.
So a little bit of background, it's very kind of you that you're giving us a chance to tell the truth. Let me start from this verse. Mr. Imran Khan, who came to power in 2018 after 23 years in politics. His name of the party is PTI, meaning Pakistan Tehreek Insaf. Insaf means justice.
Right.
And his biggest slogan is this: that I will not shake hand with anybody with a dirty hand, with the blood of the Pakistanis, or who sold the Pakistani sovereignty, or who make the money plunder the country, like Asif Zardari, PPP, Bhutto Party, so-called. Then the last 40 years, there is a two-party control, which was the result of the NRO, National Reconciliation, is blessed by the CIA. He owes this deal to the two parties who basically love holding the power, like a Benazir Bhutto. She was self-exiled in after 2000. 1999, CIA-backed dictator Musharraf was ruling the country.
Right.
And then Western powers, the game. They use you in the poor countries and weak countries, powerful army. Because Pakistan army is only an institution who's organized. Very sadly, no Pakistan political parties is a grassroots parties are organized. They're disorganized, they are cut, they have personality lovers, but they are not on the basic roots parties. Except the one named Jamaat Islami and so-called Communist Party, but they have no say in the public.
Right.
So they don't know how to win the elections. So that NRO deal. So these two parties is basically blessed by the dictatorship. People's Party, Bhutto Party, Benazir Party, which is now is hijacked by the most corrupt person His name is Asif Zardari. He said that my wife before death, give me the party chairmanship. It's just like he's a family. Then there's a Pakistan Muslim League Noon Nawaz. It's a Nawaz Sharif, elder brother Nawaz Sharif. He ran away from the courts. He's living in England. He make a drama that my blood platelets is down, so I'm gonna die. So anyway, he was criminal basically. He was got a verdict from the courts. He's not gonna fly, but powerful army. They make a deal with him in the back knife, put the knife on the chest of the Imran Khan's government.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, he left the country, Nawaz Sharif. He plundered billions dollars. So at this moment, Pakistan USA Freedom Forum, which I am a secretary general, we believe that Pakistan at this moment bankrupts. And the funny thing is this, people said $400 billion in the Western accounts, maybe in a offshore, maybe in a Switzerland, maybe in the USA.
Right.
Is a Citibank. And mostly, that mostly Asian African money is in UK.
Yeah.
In financial service. They looted the country, they looted the whole billions dollars from their resources. So these two parties since 1980s, so Muslim League Noon Nawaz and this PPP, they rule on the countries till 2018. And they're all friends of this work for the CIA, basically, that's people said. And how? Because they obey the army. And army is a puppet of the CIA.
So, comrade,
yes.
Just to be clear, because we have already spoken about this before, how the army has its own agenda, and they were against Imran Khan because he was closer to the east. And so you're saying that the CIA is still a part with a strong relationship with the Pakistani.
Anything happened in my country, Pakistan, my motherland, since 1947 when we got independence from the British Raj, the dirty divide and rule British, who ruled on India 200 years. They snatched the government from the Muslim king,
right?
And they ruled 200 years. Then they kicked Muslim feelings and Muslim population. So the last 200 years, the Muslims have nothing. So when we got the independence under the leadership of M. Jinnah, barrister, he was barrister. So he stand for the Muslim cause, and we got the independence country to show the world that we are independent. We will not be sold our sovereignty. Our foreign policy will be based on the friendship and the dialogue based. No conflict in this world which we cannot solve without dialogue. Dialogue is one of the best. That was the Pakistani leader, father of the nation, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He gave us a guideline. And Imran Khan, at this moment, 2018, which he was blamed by these all peoples, PDM is a 14 parties against Imran Khan at this moment, 13, 14, 12. They blame Imran Khan that he was that brainchild of the Pakistan army. Okay. He blamed them, and they say so many bad things against the Pakistani establishment, mean army institution, GHQ, general headquarters. But now they got the favor from the army, and now they are in the power.
Okay.
Yes. Army always involved. Gun is involved always in Pakistan politics.
Wow.
And the sad thing is this. I'm going to tell it to your podcast listener. When you have low self-esteem generals, one of the best disciplined army in Pakistan soldiers, but that's a curse because they are very disciplined, they listen to orders and they obey. So when this one guy who is a commander says the bad orders against the motherland, they have to obey. And that's the price motherland paying.
Right.
Because these are the only organized group, power, army. And they are under the control of the CIA.
Wow. This infuriates me because a lot of people, they don't get this and they automatically want to just be annoyed when someone is saying how deeply embedded our influence are on these countries. Imran Khan is not sounding crazy when he said that he was ousted by the influence of our government.
Let me be honest with you. I'm not saying that he's ideal. I'm not saying he's ideal, but he's a victim at this moment of the new colonialist game called regime change.
Right.
Libyan Gaddafi, that's a victim. Saddam Hussein is a victim.
Right.
And then they tried to in Syria, they tried to in Iran, they tried to every poor country in Africa. Regime change means they want to put the person who obey them.
Right.
Imran Khan was the only leader left in this world. Who can say like a Hugo Chavez that there's a sulfur in this hall when he spoke in the United Nations General Assembly. Hugo Chavez said after the George W. Bush, that I feel smell of the sulfur. So that was the best thing that we had. So our country, United States, we should have to avoid this kind of game against the poor countries.
Right.
Using the IMF, World Bank to excuse and arm twisting, whatever we want.
Right.
So in Pakistan, army generals are basically what's for them. Imran Khan was talking at this moment. That's why he's a popular. Why he's a popular? For his government, what he done in 2018 to 2022, April 9th. No. He just said that I will not listen to foreign capitals. We will decide our own policies, which is based on the spreading of peace in the world.
Right.
We will not go against any game, China, war, China versus West, or the United States, and old colonialists and new colonialists, USA. We will not be part of this thing. We will decide our own. That's why he was against the operation, so-called war on terror. Openly. He's the only one who stands for the Afia Siddiqui. Maybe he used Afia Siddiqui as for political, now he's silent about that. He never said about something about the Imran Khan, about the Afia Siddiqui. But he was the first political top leader who raised the voice of Dr. Afia Siddiqui, who was kidnapped, tortured in Bagram by the US Army. That's what the people said.
Oh, man.
Raped, we got everything. And that's what happened. Our soldiers, doing things, tortured, raped, humiliated to the human society in Bagram, in Abu Ghraib. You remember the Abu Ghraib?
Just like what they did to Gaddafi.
Yeah, that's what they did to Gaddafi. And then what they did with Osama bin Laden.
Right.
Problem is this, our nation, that we never go through a lot of people, like if you find 1 million people against Osama bin Laden. But if you ask one question, sir, do you know who was he? Anything for 1 minute, talk, they don't know nothing. No, he was a terrorist. But problem is this, a lot of people don't know that he was the son of the very wealthy Yemeni Saudian who had a contract construction company. So when his father died, they have a lot of, Muslim families, they have 4 wives, 5 wives, 6 wives, and they love kids. Many kids.
Right.
So they love the kids. So they have many brothers, 13, 14, 15. So he inherited a lot of money. But he want to do something good. Like our people, our organization, the NGOs, and the rich people, they want to do some good thing for the poor, for the society. So he decided to help the good cause. So he got the money. He never go to the Monte Carlo, play the gamble. He never came to the casinos in this country. He tried to do something right thing. So when the Russian invaded Afghanistan in 1979, he opposed it. And he said that there will be no need of the American bases in Saudi Arabia. So he was kicked out. Then he went to the Sudan. Then the Afghani government, who kicked the Russian, brought him to the Afghanistan. You know what he did? He brought millions of dollars. He made the bakeries for the bread. He built because he's a basically engineer.
Right.
So that's what he did. But he said, I came over here against Russia who was invaded. So now is a change. Now after Russian, you American try to be invading country, try to control this country, I'm against you. That was it's my opinion. This US people must know, my country people must know now. So he was right. he was against the invaders. So it doesn't matter what's the name of invaders, Russia, USA, or Pakistan. But he came to Afghanistan with millions of dollars. He didn't send the money. He bring his family in Afghanistan. And he was the guest of the Amarat Islami and Taliban. Taliban, who defeated the superpower with the help of Stinger missile from USA.
Yep, we all know about that. They was called the Mujahideen before, right?
Mujahideen. That's what the Reagan said.
Yep.
Only one leader of Afghani leader, Hikmat Yar, engineer, he didn't want to meet with the Americans. But Americans helped them via Pakistan. Stinger missile, the other country, like Russian weapons, money of the United States Congress, we used to buy the Russian weapon from Egypt.
Yep.
Because Egypt was basically a colony like the Russians colony. So they had the weapons. So they buy the Russian, bought all weapons, give to the Mujahideen, and they fight with the Russian troops. And finally, when the Russian gone, then faces a change, but the society is the same. Controlled by the foreign capital, mean Washington now, not the Moscow now. That time USSR, now is the USA. So he opposed this thing. And then he was against any kind of bullshit, but our Pentagon do, our CIA plan. Why? Do we get the benefits as a citizen? No. We have a lot of problems.
Right.
We have a lot of poverty in different communities. Look, about 2.5 million Black African in the jail in this country for minor crime.
Right.
Look out in this country, a lot of minority societies like immigrants, migrants, they have a problem.
Right.
We have a homeless problem in this country, mental problem.
Huge.
So we, Pakistan, USA Freedom Fund, believe this money belongs to this thing, education and health. So anyway, our society, our powerful Pentagon, our most powerful CIA strategists, they have a highest level education. They have beautiful brain and strategists in the world, from CIA, from Pentagon.
They're too damn good.
From World Bank. But you know what they're using? They're not using making a policy for the humanity.
Right.
They're making a policy on the greed.
Right.
How we can suck the blood of the poor African American. You remember that they sucked all gold from the Africa, like a Belgium, like the European countries. All blood, gold. And now these poor countries still is the poor. So anyway, Pakistani leader Imran Khan at this moment, symbol of the sovereignty, symbol of the voice against the regime change of the United States and the West. That's why people love him at this moment. That's why all other parties within the coalition, the government, they are basically touts in the mind of the people, in the mind of all citizens of Pakistan.
Do you think it's going to get worse since they have him arrested?
I tell you, as a Pakistan USA Freedom Forum Secretary, we believe that confrontation is not good. It's not a good for any civilian government, any civil society, because then this is the game. Then the army try to overrule and overpower the civilian, whatever the civilian at this moment.
Right.
It's not a civilian, it's a puppet. That's why Imran Khan party and people call them imported government at this moment, which is installed by the arm twisting and by the offering the money to the elected MNAs, meaning member of the National Assembly. They go against Imran Khan. And the coalition partner of Imran Khan sold their soul, like MQM party, like a BAD party, like the other groups. They were a part of the government of Imran Khan. But in the middle of the night, they got offered, they got arm twisting, because most of the politicians in my country, like other world too, and Africa, poor countries, they have a lot of bad things, which is documented by the Western capitals, agencies, like a CIA, like MIF,
right?
6. So they have the files of them, but they are corrupt. Now, if they put in the public, they are afraid of these. So that's why it's easy for the foreign capitals to blackmail these politicians. And which all dirty politics is based on the corruption. I think our army high-level people exception with exception. They know everything and they become a part of it.
So this is both entities that are basically at the whim.
Yes. But people of Pakistan at this moment suffering due to the heavy rains in all over the Pakistan. In Balochistan, people are dying. In Sindh province, people are dying. In KPT province, they are dying. In Kashmir problem, in Gilgit, in Punjab, which is the biggest province, more than $12 billion total country is a $222 million people.
Oh man.
Punjab is a 12 million people. One of the 12% of the nation. It comes from the Punjab. So they have many seats in the National Assembly. So at this moment, basic thing is why the Imran Khan is most popular. Not for that he was a good administrator or he was a good country. No. They have a lot of problem with him that he lied to the people when he was in the government.
Mm-hmm.
He said that I will be independent, but now he's saying himself that I got the message from the GHQ, General Headquarters of Army, and I think, okay, so it means they have a good relation with the Army, no doubt. But that good relation means that you are listening to the Army generals, not like independent civilian government.
Right, right.
And they started game when I think he opposed on principle that to appoint the intelligence chief, ISI, is a job of the civilian government, not the army. Why they did the army at this moment? General Comrade Javed Bajwa is the chief of army. Why he announced the name of the ISI, civil spy agency name chief? I think people think that they already tried to done some kind of agreement with the CIA and Washington for some benefits. This army people, without knowing Imran Khan, and when Imran Khan shows his independence, they were afraid that this kind of agreement or secret agreement, which I don't know, but as assume the people said, army establishment had made some kind of deal, like General Musharraf, Dictator Musharraf, who is run away from and living in Dubai.
That was a previous.
Yeah, the previous. He coup and make a coup in 1999, fourth coup in Pakistan, backed by CIA, 1999. He overthrew the government, elected government of Nawaz Sharif, who's also wanted by the courts because he was involved in the corruption.
Right.
Anyway, so people think that this army made a deal like Musharraf, that you can use our bases, the CIA and Americans, they can use in future South Sea China war. You remember what I'm saying? Which is, in my point of view, Pakistan, US, if you don't believe, it can start the Third World War.
I mean,
and this,
you're absolutely right, Comrade, because we're already seeing a pivot towards the Pacific with NATO. It's looking very scary. It's not looking good at all. That's a video I'm gonna do later. But continue.
One thing, I started laughing. I'm really sad. How much you can be at this moment? If there is a war happen in that area, I mean South Sea China,
right?
India is allies to the CIA. Okay, India sold their soul, but they have a good political parties over there. Maybe they will think better, and they will not behave like we did in 1979. We give our bases to our CIA secretly, because our army, they make the deal secretly, not from the public. Why? Because they make some kind of benefits for their families, for their sons, from their daughters. Easy visa to the Europe, easy visa for the education, visa for their family, which is not give to anybody, but they got easy because foreign capitals using them for their own benefits, which is based on the greed, not to help the poor people.
Right.
So anyway, at this moment, if there's a war happen, which I call Third World War maybe, India is atomic power. Pakistan is atomic power. China is atomic power. Announce these powers, but other powers like Israel is atomic.
Yes.
Iran is atomic. So when you have this kind of things in that area, small area, maybe like a 400 radius miles, so that will be a disastrous.
Right.
If you use one atomic now, not the 1940s, now 2020 atomic, it will evaporate the whole Earth.
They're so much better now. They're upgraded.
Yeah. This is so much dangerous. It's a really weapon of mass destruction, which is we are number one. Then who knows Israel has so much weapon, how many weapons? So China is an upcoming power, making the names, and second world largest trade country.
Right.
Then the Japan. So think about if there's a war. So the second trade nation and the third trade nation, Japan, the whole trade will be suffered. And the poor India, which has a lot of problem for the poor people, Pakistan, which has a lot of poverty, Iran is struggling after sanctions imposed by the Washington. So sad, since not one day Iran was immune from the sanctions and embargoes.
Wow.
So this is the sad story, but as a Pakistani, I'm proud that we are asking the Western old colonialists and the new colonialists, USA, please learn your mistake. You cannot control any nation without their permission. You cannot go in their homes without their permission. You sign the agreement of United Nations Charter. Just respect the UN Charter. That's the best solution at this moment available for the humanity.
Exactly.
And the progress in the world. And let's solve the problem of homelessness in this United States. Let's solve the problem of the woman's problem. We have a lot of problems in our society.
Exactly. We have so much going on here, and they're too busy worrying about other people's problems and giving all this money.
You can ask Amy, Margaret, John, George. Do you have any interest in Syria? Do you have any interest in somewhere?
Right.
What interest you have backing the Israeli occupation or Indian occupation in Kashmir since 1947 against the past United Nations resolution? A lot of people don't know that Israel and India at this moment violator of the United Nations past resolutions. And who backed them? Western countries and United States. They vetoed every resolution which is go against Indian or Israeli occupations. So this is not a good face of us. We are helping occupiers, and we occupy the other countries. We have embargoes against the Cuba, how many years now? Almost, I think, 60 years.
So, yeah, about 60 years. Yeah.
Then we have a starting fight in Latin America. Hugo Chavez died.
Right.
So just saying that we will use our energy, our money, or our people, but you cannot dictate us. So this is a new era. We should have to take a stand as American. Just find out what's our values, what our elders said to us, our forefathers. They just kicked the British divide and rule people. They said no. In 1776, they kicked them out.
Yeah, they kicked out the British.
We're a proud nation. But now if we behave like the same,
right?
That's not a good.
We became them.
I can tell you one thing which I'm sad as a Pakistan US Freedom Forum Secretary General. Brother, you know what's the sign is this? That our education system is failed. We are producing the people, system can use them for grabbing the other countries and sucking the money from poor countries, not to give them some kind of relief, but which we can do easily because God gave us so much power, so much money, so much food. But only one thing we have to know that how we can share with the others. We are failure system, education system. We are producing only servant to the capital society. Capital society mean only me.
Right. Individualism.
So I'm a proud person that my leader, Imran Khan, at this moment, he's the only voice in the world that please respect the UN Charter, sovereignty of other countries, regardless of their wealth and their area. And you cannot regime change. You cannot control interference other internal matters in other countries. It doesn't matter it's a small country or poor. So that's what I think he's the only international leader who challenged publicly. And very unique, he said everything in the public. But it doesn't mean that we don't believe on the dialogue. At this moment, all parties in the government, everybody knows that they are corrupt. They looted in the last 40 years. Country at this moment is a bankrupt. We don't have a food. Our currency is down, zero. You cannot buy a simple bread from the outside of world because you don't have a dollar. Because dollar is controlling the whole world. This is another dilemma. The dollar is the whole. If you control the dollar, you can control the whole world.
Right.
That's what we did it. Just like an email, internet. There's no alternative for the internet. We are the only one who can control.
Right. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time, Comrade. I want to thank you for coming on here and speaking to my platform. There's a lot of history that you have given, which is one of the reasons why I love having you on here. So educational. It's a great breakdown and gives people a full understanding because we don't know over here on this side as much.
Yeah, that's the problem of the American nation. And this is my job because this is my country. This is my mother-in-law, second mother. Right. I adopted this land. I take oath. For what? To stand with the United States. Nobody can attack on us. We will defend. But what do you think? What's our job? To stand with that kind of government who occupied other countries, who killing other people, who torture in a jail, who have a Guantanamo Bay, right? Who's prison 2.5 million African Americans for minor crime. You know,
yeah.
That's the son I want to be in this country to help the United States for the good causes. Humanity. We are equal.
Yep.
But let's solve the problem in that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you have a really good day.
Sir. I'm honored for your kind words, sir.
I'm honored to have you on, man.
Thank you, sir. God bless United States. God bless Pakistan-US friendship for the right cause, for the more peace in the world. All right.
God bless.
Thank you.
So yeah, you guys just heard from Comrade Shahid. He is the secretary of Pakistan U.S. Forum, and I just need to get him on to talk about this whole situation that just unfolded with Imran Khan. This is literally a description of how the United States uses a government to ensure their interests. Notice when you look at the media today, they're not talking about this. They're talking about whatever the fuck they want to talk about. I looked on every mainstream press, seeing nothing because they know him being arrested is bullshit. They know him being arrested is going to make a lot of Pakistani people, just as I just had my friend on, upset about this because it just shows that they are going against what the people want and are still pivoting towards the colonial rule. And this is what it's all about here in the Pacific. This is scary. They are trying their hardest to take as much influence as they can so they can go after China, which is a huge nuclear power. This is happening right now. And I don't know what's going to happen in the next year or so, or probably the next few months. But this is intentional. And this is colonial intentionalness. And I don't want to see stupid ass fucking comments of people talking about, oh, the communists are rewriting history. Communism is an ideology that only been around for 140 years, probably even less than that. You cannot take that ideology and try to say that they dictate what China, that's a 5,000-year-old government, is doing. You can't take that ideology and talk about all these civilizations that have been within the Middle East and whatever the government here says is wrong. Whoever's wrong, who's right, who's the ally, who's not the ally. When they create the most war crimes that who they say is evil is not. It's all bullshit propaganda. And I'm pissed at people that I respected, I looked up to. I'm pissed at people that I worked with that buy this bullshit. The stupid slogans, they repeat everything that the government says. Taiwan's not part of China. Oh, all the Muslim people are backwards. All this racist, white supremacist rhetoric that is coming out of their mouth. No one's reading shit. And if they are reading, they're reading the shit that the Western media posts. This fucking kid that I went to high school with posts a YouTube video of a white man explaining Chinese history. Excuse me? I'm supposed to be informed on a white man explaining another brown country's history. That's where we're at right now in America. So I'm going to get people on that are from these countries from now on, and they're going to talk about what's going on in their country. And if you want to tell me that they're full of shit, you can kiss my black ass. Rant over. All right. So thank you so much for everyone that was listening. And I hope you have a really, really good day. I will be back with another update on Brazil, by the way. That is actually coming in to fold. So and we're gonna have another musical guest on tomorrow, actually. So we're still doing music, arts, and politics. And everyone have a really good day.
I appreciate what you do because I do believe that the work that you're doing, and so folks watching and listening, please support Jamar, because he and others like him are the linkage that allows all those parts of the body to communicate with each other, to interact with each other, to link with one another. Without this communication piece, we're just all doing our things separately. And so please support this platform, other platforms, other people like Jamar who are doing this work, because that's what we need to move this movement forward, grow it, build it, and eventually win.